I watched my soulmate lock lips with another woman on what should have been our engagement day. Turns out, ditching me for her daddy's throne was his fast track to power, and I was just the collateral damage. Today was supposed to be the day my fated mate and I got engaged. But now I am watching him kiss another woman. Marrying her could make him the future alpha because she is the daughter of Victor Hale, the most powerful Lycan chairman in the world. A couple of months ago, our alpha died during a battle, and now all the candidates are competing for that position, including my mate. Ryan Evrione knows the Lycans control the werewolf population, and Victor, he could single-handedly appoint anyone the new alpha. So, Ryan made his choice. Her, not me. "Get me a whiskey and a martini for the lady," a deep voice sounded from nearby. "Is it the future bride or the future groom that has got you in a mood?" "I am just not into parties," I decided to say. "Nor am I," he murmured. "I am here out of obligation." The bartender placed my drink in front of me, and I took a long sip, sighing in contentment. I waited for the alcohol to do its job and finish numbing the pain. Every time Ryan kissed her, it killed me a little more. How had my life taken such a devastating turn? How could my fated mate do this? Did our 2 years together truly mean nothing? Did the mark on my neck mean that little to him? "Thank you for the drink," I told the man. I took one last sip of my martini and started to get down from the stool, except my blouse snagged on the corner of the counter. Just as I heard a tearing sound, I began to fall to the ground. I closed my eyes, bracing myself for the impact, but it never came. Instead, I felt strong arms wrapping around my body, lifting me into the air. I opened my eyes and peeked up at the man who caught me, and my breath caught. He was so handsome. He held me with ease as if I weighed nothing, and I could tell from the way he smiled that he knew it. A dimple appeared on his right cheek. I wanted to lick that dimple. "Madam, are you falling for me?" he asked teasingly. I stared at him for a heartbeat longer before I squinted my eyes at him, seeing what he did there. "You are a funny one, aren't you?" he grinned. Then he looked at my shirt and immediately frowned. "Let me take you to my suite upstairs," he said, making my heart skip a beat. "What?" I said in barely a whisper. His eyes met mine, and I got lost in their beauty for a moment. Goddess, his good looks were sinful. "Your shirt is ripped. I have one you can wear upstairs in my VIP suite," he explained. I blinked a couple of times and gave a nervous chuckle. "Oh, all right, thank you," I managed to sputter. He turned to the bartender. "Charge our drinks to my suite," he ordered. "Yes, sir." I allowed the man to carry me out of the room. His chest was so broad and warm that I found myself resting my head against it, breathing in his minty scent. Me Wolf had been quiet for most of the evening while she licked the wounds the broken mate bond had caused. But right now, it was as if she had forgotten she was heartbroken. "Take off your shirt," he ordered once we were in the suite. He had released me and was walking to the closet. "Excuse me," I squeaked. "So you can put on a new shirt," he explained. "Right," I breathed. I quickly removed my ripped blouse, standing there in only my bra from the waist up. Once he found a shirt, he turned around to face me, and his eyes darkened as he stared at me. The longer I stared at him, the more I started to feel something stirring inside me. Then, realization struck me, and I gasped. "It is you," I breathed. Taking a step back, his eyes shifted upward and met mine, his brow arched. "You know me?" he asked. "I know of you," I clarified. The corner of his lips tipped upward as he walked towards me. Slowly, as if he were stalking his prey. I could practically hear the sounds of my heartbeat. "And what do you know of me?" "Only what I've heard," I admitted. "And what have you heard?" "You are Victor Hale, Lycan chairman. You are a playboy, you have a new woman each week, and you never sleep with the same woman twice." He raised his brows. "Is that so?" he asked. "Tell me more about myself." Well, he is the father of the bride and Ryan's future father-in-law. I am confused. I don't know what I should do, but I am surprised I didn't recognize him at first. The Lycan family isn't high profile. They're more used to staying behind the scenes than becoming politicians and celebrities like werewolf alphas. Should I tell him who I am? But that would be stupid at this moment. He continued to walk towards me, and I continued to walk backward until my back hit the wall. "What more do you want to know?" I asked, my voice coming out breathy. "Everything." I am not sure if it was the martini speaking or me, but I decided to be bold. If Ryan can indulge himself in someone new, then so could I. I lifted my chin as he neared closer. "Your eyes," I started to say. I've heard that they were mesmerizing, and I must agree. "What else?" I swallowed the lump in my throat. "When you smile, you have this adorable dimple on your cheek," I whispered. He was only inches from me now, staring so intently at me that I thought I would burn up under his scrutiny. He licked his lips, drawing my attention to his mouth. "And your lips?" Before I could finish that sentence, his mouth crashed into mine. His kiss was anything but soft and sweet, but filled with hunger and possession. His tongue explored my lips, tasting every inch of me. He lifted me into the air, my body pinned between the wall and him. Instinctively, I wrapped my legs around his waist and allowed him to deepen the kiss. His hands trailed down the nape of my neck, and warmth spread across my body as he sucked on my soft spot. All self-control and common sense left my mind the moment his lips claimed my body and soul entirely. I pulled at his tie, wanting to take it and his shirt off. He helped me undo his tie and then lifted his shirt over his head, tossing it to the ground. My fingers explored his body. They roamed over his abs and up his broad shoulders. I moaned into his mouth as his lips found mine again. "Are you sure you want this?" he asked between kisses. "Yes," I rasped out. "We are both willing adults, so why not?" His lips were on mine again, and just as he was about to take off my bra, I received a tearful mind link from my adoptive mother. "Emily, please, come home." She sounded panicked. My mother never panicked, I gasped. I let my legs fall from around him and pressed against his chest. "Stop," I said breathlessly. "I have to go." He frowned. "I don't have much patience. Stop joking," he said, a hint of anger in his voice. "I am so sorry, but I am sure you have plenty of other options," I said, and started to run towards the door. But he grabbed my arm, stopping me. I whirled around to face him, my own anger rushing to the surface, but before I could say anything, he pointed to the bed. "Your shirt is ripped, remember?" I looked down at my bra with a frown. "Oh," he sighed, grabbing his shirt and putting it over my head. I inhaled deeply, and warmth spread throughout my body. It smelled like him. The moment I stepped into the house, I could hear my mother sobbing. "Emily?" My mother sobbed. I could hear that she was in the kitchen, and my heart stuttered at the sound of her broken voice. "Your father was taken away by the Gammas tonight." My heart fell into my stomach. "What?" I gasped. We lived in a decent-sized house, my adoptive father, being a successful businessman and a Delta of the Red Moon Pack, had a lot of money. "He was arrested," she explained. "He made a bad investment for the company, and he ended up losing all the money. He went completely bankrupt, and now he owes the pack so much money. Until he pays it, they put him in jail." "They can't just come and take him away like this," I said, standing to my feet, hardly able to contain my emotions. "Without any warning, that is not fair. They can do whatever they want. The beta is under the jurisdiction of the Lycans, and it was his decision. Loan sharks are ruthless, and nobody wishes to deal with them. It is easier to just get rid of the problem. And right now, your father is the problem." Before I could say anything more, my phone started to ring. I reached into my bag and pulled it out. I frowned when I saw the name flash across the screen. "I heard about your father." Ryan's voice was soft as he spoke, and my traitorous heart skipped a beat. I hated how my body responded to him still. It was because of this stupid mate bond. Even though he rejected me, and I accepted it, that didn't mean it severed our bond. It won't be severed until he marks someone else. I might have a suggestion though, but I'd like to tell you in person. I quickly left the kitchen and walked out of the house. Ryan was leaning against his car with his arms folded across his chest. Goddess, I hated how good he looked. I had been in love with him for longer than 2 years. He was my friend, my confidant, my fated mate. When he rejected me, it destroyed everything I had dreamt of. I wrapped my arms around my body, desperately trying to hold myself together. "Why are you here?" I asked him after a long and awkward silence. "I wanted to talk to you," he replied. "Why?" The corner of his lips tipped upwards as he stared at me. I nearly melted under his scrutiny, and I had to shift my gaze to look at the ground. "Because I can help you," he answered. "Your father's funding chain is broken, and he now owes a lot of money. I know for a fact that he doesn't have that kind of money, especially now that his business has gone bankrupt. But I do." I lifted my gaze to meet him. He was serious. "Are you saying you'd pay my father's debt?" I asked him. He nodded. "Yes," he answered. "And what would we have to do in return?" I asked. Almost afraid to ask, he smirked, which gave me an uneasy feeling in the pit of my stomach. "There is a condition," he confessed. I waited silently for him to continue, my eyes never leaving his. "After I get married, I want you to drop out of school and become my mistress." I couldn't have heard him correctly. I stared at him with my jaw practically on the ground. "Excuse me," I managed to sputter. "You want me to what?" "Drop out of school and become my mistress. I already have a luxurious home for you to live in. You would never have to want for anything. I'll pay off your father's debt and give you more money than you could dream of." "How? How could you ask me to do such a thing?" I asked in a choked whisper. Tears threatened to spill from my eyes, but I kept them away, not wanting him to see me break. He stepped closer to me, and I felt rooted to the ground, unable to move. My wolf was whimpering about his request. She couldn't believe our mate could ask such a thing from us. She was gutted, and I hated that she was put in this position. "Because we've always been so good together, Emily," he said, reaching out and touching my arm gently. "We will always have that strong connection, even if I mark someone else. You and your family would be set for life. All you have to do is say yes." He was rubbing his fingers up and down my arms, and I felt sick to my stomach. I finally found the strength to step away from him, my body trembling. "No," I said, meeting his eyes. "I would never become your mistress." His eyes darkened. "I am about to become the alpha. Emily, you must get with the times. Becoming my mistress would only benefit you. And plus, don't you want your father out of jail?" "I will find another way," I said through my teeth. "If that is all you came here to say, then I've heard enough, you can leave." He raised his brows as he stared at me. He studied me for a moment longer, like he expected me to change my mind at any moment. "You'll change your mind," he told me as he stepped away from me and towards his car. "And when you do, I'll be here. But until then, your father will remain in prison." "I'll figure it out," I said to his retreating back. "We don't need you, Ryan." He chuckled as he opened his car door and then turned back to gaze into my eyes. "In order to get him out of prison, you'll need at least $5 million. When you realize that there is no other option, you'll come to your senses. I am sure of it." Without another word, he got into his car. I watched as he drove away, disappearing into the night. It was only when he disappeared that I allowed myself to fall to the ground. Tears streamed down my cheeks before I could stop them. $5 million. How was I going to come up with that kind of money? I had 2 classes this morning, and one later in the afternoon. My first class was warrior training, and my second class was shifting, both of which I excelled at. I was going to college for gamma training so that once I graduated, I could prove myself to the Gamma Force and become a warrior. Then I could easily be able to pay off my father's debt and save my family. "You look like hell," my best friend, Lily, pointed out as I sat beside her against the large oak tree. The very tree we always met up at. It was a rough night, I admitted as I took out my textbook to study. Where did you go last night when I returned? You were gone. Did you leave early because of the engagement party? I bit my lower lip as I thought about what to say to her. If I lied, she'd be able to see right through me. I was a terrible liar initially, but Lily could read me like a book. I ripped my shirt, and someone brought me into his room to change, I said, feeling my cheeks growing warm at the memory. She raised her brows and I could barely look at her. You went to someone's room, she asked. Whose? I was quiet for a moment, and she grabbed my arm, getting my attention. Emily, who did you leave with? She asked. Now her voice filled with alarm. I knew there was no getting out of this conversation. I bit my lip and peeked up at her through my lashes. Victor Hale? I squeaked. Shut up, she gasped. Are you serious? You went to Victor Hale's VIP suite? As in the Victor Hale? I nearly tackled her. She was being so loud. Keep your voice down, I scolded, attempting to cover her mouth with my hands, but she was too quick and dodged me. How can I possibly keep it down when my best friend went to Victor Hale's hotel room last night and waited until now to tell me? She exclaimed. Lily was a waitress at the hotel restaurant the engagement party was at last night. The hotel, called Carter Resorts, was in the human territory, and it was owned by Thomas Reed, the Delta of the Silver Crescent pack, which happened to be Victor Hale's pack. I wasn't surprised to see Victor there last night, especially considering his daughter was the bride. I was less surprised to see that he had a VIP suite at the hotel. I sighed. It all happened so fast, and I had a bit too much to drink, I admitted. I all but forgot when I got home because other stuff happened. I wrapped my arms around my body and looked up at her concerned eyes. What else happened? She asked, her voice dropping to a whisper. I took a deep breath, and I told Lily everything that happened, right up until Ryan came over and asked me to be his mistress in exchange for him paying off my father's debt. By the time I finished talking, Lily's jaw had dropped. The nerve of that asshole, she hissed. How dare he? He rejected you, and now he wants you to be his little whore. He has zero shame. I am not sure what I am going to do, Lily, I whispered. There is no way I could come up with $5 million to pay off my father's debt. We both fell silent as our thoughts consumed us, and then her face lit up. I knew that look well, and it made me nervous as a smile spread across her face. I knew right away that she had an idea, and I also knew that I wasn't going to like it. You said that he gave you his shirt to wear, she asked. I nodded. She gasped and grabbed my arm. Isn't it obvious, Emily? Victor is into you. That is the only reason he'd give you his shirt. He wanted his scent on you. He is very picky. In all my time as a waitress, you are the first woman he has ever offered. I gawked at her. She had officially lost her mind. Victor's not into me, I said, shaking my head. He gave me his shirt because mine ripped. There was nothing to it. Why would he even care? Lily asked, folding her arms across her chest. He is Victor Hale and doesn't need to care about any of this. Besides, you mentioned that he kissed you heatedly. You were ready to go all the way with him, which is huge because you were planning on waiting until after you were married. There had to be some kind of connection last night. I glanced at my hands. Or maybe I was just hurting and wanted to get back at Ryan, I murmured. Plus, I had a little too much to drink. Drunk actions are sober thoughts or something like that, she said, waving away my words. Then she smirked. You could use this to your advantage. Do you still have that lingerie you bought for your wedding night? You should pay Victor a little visit and make him an offer he can't refuse. I knew it was a bad idea the moment she spoke the words, but her words continued to replay in my mind for the remainder of the day and night. When I woke up the next morning, my mind was made up. I went to my closet and grabbed my red lingerie. I had only tried it on once, and I felt a little self-conscious wearing it. But I knew the night of my wedding when I finally gave myself over to Ryan fully, it wouldn't matter what I was wearing. My heart ached at the thought, and I quickly brushed it out of my head before I started to cry again. I dressed in the lingerie, and I grabbed a long trench coat, wrapping it around my body. I left my hair down and put on a little makeup to make my features pop. For the last day or so, my mother had either been speaking on the phone to lawyers, visiting my father in prison, or in her room. I had barely seen or spoken to her since I told her Ryan wasn't going to help us. I hated knowing I disappointed her, but hopefully, this would fix all our problems. It was no secret where Victor's office was. Everybody knew the famous Victor Hale Corporation. When I walked through the front door, the receptionist was typing on her computer. She barely spared me a look as I approached the desk. "Good morning. I am here to see Victor Hale," I said, as politely as I could. The receptionist looked upward at me and blinked a couple of times, looking less than amused. "Do you have an appointment?" No, but..." "Look, I don't have time for this. Countless women come in here and request to speak with Victor, and I am going to tell you what I tell them. Mr. Hale is incredibly busy, and he doesn't have time or patience to be dealing with another fangirl," she said bitterly. "And what gives you the right to turn away those who come to see me?" A deep voice boomed. "I am sorry," the receptionist said, quivering with satisfaction, but I kept it held in. "I asked you a question, Sophia," he said, narrowing his eyes at her. "What gives you the right to send away guests? You know the protocol. You are to call me and ask if I want to see them or not you." She swallowed and glanced at the ground as if staring directly at him physically hurt her. "Come with me." It took me a second to realize he was speaking to me, but when I saw the receptionist glaring at me and Victor's retreating back, I nearly stumbled after him. We reached the elevator, and he pressed the button. It was very high-tech with a touchscreen attached to it. He brought up a keypad and typed in some sequence before pressing the floor number. He stood so close to me that the elevator felt almost cramped. Despite it being a wide space, I could smell his incredible minty scent, mixed in with his aftershave, and my heart skipped a beat. He didn't bother looking at me, though, and I was starting to doubt this plan would work. Maybe he didn't like me as much as I thought he did. I felt awkward knowing that under this coat was nothing but lingerie. The elevator came to a halt, and the doors opened. It was an extremely large space with marble flooring and granite walls. "Where exactly is your office?" I asked, staring around the gorgeous area. He glanced at me. His face kept indifferent. "This is my office." My eyes grew large at his words. He continued walking until he turned a corner, and sure enough, there was his desk right in front of a large window that overlooked the human city. It was gorgeous, and my stomach twisted with nerves. He didn't bother sitting on his desk chair. Instead, he turned to face me, leaning against his desk and folding his arms across his chest. I swallowed the lump in my throat as I took him in. He wore a white dress shirt with dress pants that hugged his waist perfectly. Me wolf purred with satisfaction, and I found myself staring at him for way longer than I intended to. He cleared his throat, making me nearly jump out of my skin as my gaze shot upward and met his. He was smirking at me. "So, what did you come here for?" he asked, breaking the tension between us. "Oh, right, the reason I am here. I have a problem, and I need your help," I said in a rush. He raised his right brow. "What kind of problem?" I cleared my throat before continuing. "My father was arrested the other night," I blurted. "His business went bankrupt, and he owes a lot of money, roughly $5 million. He was silent as he waited for me to continue. Probably wanted to know how he could help my father so he could pay the debt. "I was hoping you'd be able to help him and maybe pay the debt for my family," I asked, biting my lip. He was quiet for another moment, processing my request before he ran his fingers through his hair. "And what would I get in return for helping your family?" he asked. I swallowed the lump in my throat. Confidence. I needed confidence. I held my head up high and looked him right in the eyes. It was known as a challenge to look an alpha directly in the eyes. Even worse, so looking a lichen directly in the eyes. But Victor wasn't as angry as I thought he would be. Instead, he looked intrigued. "Well," I began, dropping my voice low as I stepped closer to him. "At the party, we obviously had a connection." I felt my cheeks growing hot as I thought about it. I thought maybe. I took a deep breath and undid my coat, revealing a portion of my lingerie. But not all of it. Not yet, at least. His eyes darkened as he gazed over my body. I suddenly had a surge of confidence, and I reached my hand out to touch him. "I thought maybe I could do some favors for you in return," I said in a sultry voice. "I am a college student and very clean. I haven't had sex, so you don't need to worry about anything." His breathing grew heavy as he straightened his posture, closing the gap between us. His nearness was intoxicating, and my heart started to race against my chest as his scent enveloped me. He reached his hand up, and I felt his fingers glide down my cheek, sending shivers through my body. I was going to pass out from the heat that filled me. His eyes were dark like they were the night in the VIP suite. He swallowed hard, and I watched his Adam's apple move slightly. I closed my eyes, preparing for him to kiss me. I could feel his breath on my lips. And then, instead, I felt him adjusting my coat, covering my body completely. My eyes flew open, and I looked at his stern expression. "I don't need your body to pay for my help," he said to me. "You are still young, Miss Harper. You will regret taking such shortcuts in the future." How did he know my name? I hadn't told him. Had he looked into me? My heart skipped a beat at the thought, but his words were slowly crushing me. He didn't want me. I lowered my gaze, hating how hot my face was getting. I knew he could see how flushed I was. When he spoke next, he softened his voice and spoke with compassion. "Look, I have a daughter," he told me. "I would never teach her to use her body as a transaction. I want more for her and better from her." He reached his hand and caressed the nape of my neck with his fingertip. My breath hitched as I gazed up at him. "I expected better from you," he added. My heart fell into my stomach, and disappointment consumed me. He was right, I was better than this. I nodded my head and opened my mouth to speak, but I heard footsteps approaching. I whipped around to look at Victor with wide eyes. "Time has run out," Victor said, looking at me briefly before glancing at the security guards standing nearby. "Escort Miss Harper out." "Yes, sir," they both said. They stood on each side of me, and I stared at Victor with shock. I didn't fight or argue with the security guards as they told me to come with them. "Thank you for your time," I managed to say before I turned and left the office. I wanted to cry because of the shame, but I knew more importantly I needed a new job. "I am so excited we get to work together," Lily said with a wide smile. "And you look great in that uniform." I looked down at my uniform. I felt ridiculous in this thing. It was a short skirt and a crop top that showed way too much cleavage. I felt like I was on display, especially at night, when this place pretty much turned into a club. These men are wealthy and would tip generously. It was an opportunity I couldn't pass up when I was so desperate. "That is what friends are for," she said, nudging my arm with hers. She looked behind me and sighed. "Looks like we are getting a group of guys. Good luck," she said. I sighed and turned to greet the customers. But then I froze when I saw who was amongst them. "She does work here. You were right," I heard one of his friends saying. "This is going to be so good. Hey, call girl, can we get a table?" "Are you just going to stare at us, call girl?" I placed the menus on the table for them and waited for each of them to take a seat. "I am not a call girl. Please, take your seats." As I leaned over the table to put the beer in front of each of them, one of them grabbed my rear end. I felt my entire body freeze. "I like this little uniform on you. How about you take it off and show us what is underneath?" My entire body went hot as I stepped back from the table, forcing his hand to drop. "Do not touch me," I said loudly to each of them. "Come on, Emily, aren't you here to satisfy men?" Another of his friends asked. "So come here and satisfy us. Sit on my lap." I pressed my lips together. "I am not a call girl," I told them for the final time. "I am a waitress." "The manager hired you for this job because you are hot," one of them chuckled. "He didn't care about your skills. He cared about whether or not you could flirt with the customers and make him a lot of money. I am willing to give you a good tip if you let me see what is underneath your uniform and sit on my lap." I felt my blood going cold from his words. "Come here, baby girl," he said, patting his lap and winking at me. I just stared at him, disbelieving. I looked at Ryan, who was watching me, waiting to see what I would do. How could he just let his friends speak to me like this? At one point, he would have never allowed this. He would have punched anyone who looked at me with lust in their eyes. Now, he was acting as if he didn't care. "I'll give you $10,000 if you drink this entire beer," one of his friends asked. My mouth nearly fell open. "What?" I asked. "You heard me," he answered. "Drink this whole beer, and you'll get $10,000. "We'll all give you $10,000 each if you drink all of our beers," another one said. I stared at the beer and then at the men. My eyes landed on Ryan once more. He raised his brows, waiting for my answer. Swallowing my pride, I stepped towards the table and grabbed one of the glasses. I really didn't like beer, but money was money. I knew Ryan's friends were rich and could pay that kind of money easily. I needed the cash to get my father out of prison. I brought the cup to my lips and let the liquid run down my throat. I winced at the bitter taste, but I kept pushing myself until the cup was empty. His friends were cheering and chanting as I drank the contents of the cup. I set the empty glass on the table and looked at the next guy, who slid his beer at me, winking as he did so. I chugged his beer as well. I was halfway through the third glass when I felt a firm grip around my wrist, and I was yanked away. I heard Ryan's friends booing and telling him he was a party pooper. I had no idea where Ryan was taking me. He was quiet until we reached outside. He whipped around to glare at me. "Accept my offer and stop this foolishness," he ordered. "I won't be your mistress, Ryan," I told him, narrowing my eyes, my head fuzzy from the beer. "You can forget about that. You'd rather act like a little slut instead," he asked through his teeth. "You looked ridiculous in there. Why do you care? You have your fiancé. This is my private business, and my private business no longer includes you. You are still mine, Emily. You will always be mine," he growled. I wanted to laugh at his ridiculousness, but I also wanted to cry. He was so sweet at one point. I spent more than 2 years loving this man. Now, as he stood before me, I realized he was a stranger. "I am not yours," I told him. Glad that my voice came out stronger than I felt. He let out a bitter laugh. "Fine, be a whore for all I care," he growled. "Spread your legs for money because that is all you are good for." Before I could stop myself, my hand swung and made contact with his cheek, causing a loud slap. He didn't flinch, but he did grow angrier as he went to grab my throat. He froze though when he looked at my neck, and I watched the color drain from his face. "What the fuck?" he hissed. He grabbed my chin and yanked my head to the side. "Is that a hickey?" I realized when getting dressed this morning that the hickey Victor left on me the other night was still there. It was fading, but still visible. "So, what if it is?" I asked. He released my chin and glared at me, his gaze icy. "Who the hell have you been with?" "That is not your concern," I retorted. He turned to walk away, but he gripped my arm, making me whimper in pain as he whipped me around to face him again. "Answer my goddamn question, Emily. Who have you been with?" Through gritted teeth, I answered. "Victor, your future father-in-law, happy now." He released me and let out a bark of laughter. "Are you kidding me? You don't have to make up such a ridiculous story," Ryan said through a fit of laughter. I heard more laughter from nearby, and I realized Ryan's friends were crowding around. "Is she talking about Victor Hale? He has standards. He would never go for a girl like Emily." "Yeah, Emily is a slut, and Victor is a lichen chairman. There is no way," another friend laughed. "I am being serious," I told them, folding my arms across my chest. This time, Ryan did grab my throat, and his gaze turned almost deadly. "Stop playing me for a fool and tell me the truth," he growled. "Victor would never want someone like you. You are nobody. You don't fit into his world." I couldn't breathe as his hands tightened around my throat, so I couldn't respond. "Now, how about you do as I say and move into the house I bought? Once I get married, I'll see you frequently at night, and you can spread your pretty little legs for me only." There was a loud honk from nearby, making Ryan drop his hold and interrupting us. I coughed and rubbed my sore neck as he glared at the person in the car. I glanced at the black Bentley and frowned when the door opened. I gasped when I saw Victor seated in the back, his eyes on me. "Get in," he ordered. I stared at him, disbelieving. "I won't ask you again, Emily," he said through his teeth. I felt Ryan's shocked eyes on me as I quickly hurried towards the car and got in, closing the door behind me. "Drive," he ordered the driver. "Yes, sir." The car started to move. Ryan stood on the curb, his mouth nearly dropped. His friends were equally shocked. Victor glanced at me, and I felt my cheeks redden. "Using me to make your ex-fiancé jealous, are you?" I snapped a look at Victor, shocked that he knew Ryan was my ex-fiancé. He really has done his research on me. Initially, I thought he just looked up my name, but he knew more information than I was prepared for. "How did you know that he was my ex-fiancé?" Victor leaned back against the plush leather seat of the Bentley, his fingers drumming lightly on the armrest as the city lights streaked by outside the tinted windows. His eyes met mine with that same intense gaze that had captivated me from the moment he caught me at the bar. A mix of amusement and something deeper, more possessive. "How did I know?" he repeated. His voice smooth and measured, like he was revealing a secret he'd been holding just for this moment. "Emily, in my position, information is everything. I don't leave things to chance after that night in the suite. I couldn't stop thinking about you. The way you pulled away, the fire in your eyes, it stuck with me. So, I did what I always do. I looked into you, pack records, connections, a few discreet calls. It wasn't hard to piece together. Ryan rejected you publicly, chased power by engaging my daughter, Isabella. The mate bond. The mark on your neck, it is all there in the reports. I knew before you even came to my office with that proposition." I stared at him, my heart pounding in my chest, a whirlwind of emotions swirling inside me. Shock, anger, a strange thrill that someone like him had gone to such lengths. The car's engine hummed softly, but it felt like the world had narrowed to just us in this confined space, his minty scent enveloping me like a reminder of unfinished business. You investigated me, like some kind of background check. That is not just creepy, Victor, that is an invasion. My life isn't a file for you to flip through. Ryan humiliated me, tossed me aside like I was nothing, and you just dug it up. What gives you the right? He didn't flinch, his expression remaining calm, though his jaw tightened slightly. The right, survival, Emily. In the pack world, trust is rare and betrayal is common. I needed to know if you were a threat, a pawn in Ryan's game to undermine me or the engagement. But you are not. You are real, hurt, strong, fighting for your family. That is why I turned you down in the office. I didn't want to be another man who took advantage of your pain, but knowing about Ryan, it only made me want to protect you more. Protect me. The word hung in the air, stirring something warm in my chest, despite my anger. My wolf perked up inside me, a low rumble of agreement, drawn to his strength, his dominance. But I pushed it down, folding my arms across my chest as the car turned a corner, heading toward what I assumed was my home. Protect me, or control me. You act like you are the hero here, but you are the one who knows every detail of my life, while I know nothing about yours beyond the rumors. Playboy chairman, new woman every week. Is that why you helped tonight? To add me to your collection? Victor's laugh was low, genuine, cutting through the tension like a knife. He reached out, his hand hovering near mine before pulling back, respecting the space I'd created. Collection. Those rumors are exaggerated, Emily. Yes, I've had my share of flings, lonely nights after losing my wife, burying myself in work and distractions. But none of them meant anything. You are different. That night in the suite, it wasn't just physical. My wolf sensed it, a connection, a pull. And tonight, seeing Ryan with his hands on you, it took everything not to shift and tear him apart right there. The car slowed as we approached my neighborhood, the familiar houses blurring into comfort amid the chaos. His words hit me hard, stirring memories of his arms around me, the way he'd held me like I was precious. My breath caught, and I looked away, staring out the window to hide the flush creeping up my cheeks. A pull, Victor. This is insane. You are Isabella's father, Ryan's future father. In law, if anyone finds out about whatever this is, it could destroy everything. The pack, the alpha race, it is all connected. I am just trying to save my dad, not start a war. He nodded slowly, his voice softening as the driver pulled up to my curb. I know the risks. That is why I am offering more than just a ride home. Take the job at the corporation, security intern, use your gamma skills to analyze threats, earn the money to pay off the debt yourself. No favors, no expectations. But if there is something between us, let's explore it, slowly, no pressure. I hesitated. My hand on the door handle, the night air seeping in as I cracked it open. His offer dangled like a lifeline, but one laced with danger. I'll think about it, but Victor, don't dig into me again without asking. If there is trust, it goes both ways. Fair enough, he said, his dimple flashing in a small smile. Good night, Emily. Call if you need anything, day or night. I stepped out, the door closing softly behind me, watching the Bentley disappear into the darkness. Inside the house, the lights were dim, Mom's silhouette visible in the kitchen, stirring a cup of tea that had probably gone cold hours ago. She looked up as I entered, her eyes red, rimmed from crying, but lighting up with relief. Emily Goddess, I was worried. Where have you been? That uniform. What happened? I kicked off my shoes, sinking into a chair across from her, the weight of the night crashing down. Work was hell, Mom. Ryan showed up with his friends, tried to humiliate me, make me drink for money like some game. Then Victor Hale, he intervened, drove me home. Mom's spoon clattered against the cup, her face paling. Victor Hale, the lichen chairman? Emily, what did he want? Men like him don't help for free. He offered a job, I said, pulling Victor's card from my pocket and sliding it across the table. At his corporation, says I can use my training to earn the money for Dad's debt. No strings. She picked up the card, turning it over in her hands like it was a bomb. And you believe that? After Ryan, after everything? Be careful, sweetie. Power corrupts. Your heart's still healing. Don't let him break it worse. I hugged her goodnight, her words echoing as I headed to my room. The mirror reflected a girl I barely recognized. Tired eyes, fading hickey, new bruise on my throat from Ryan's grip. Tears welled up as I changed into pajamas, crawling under the covers. Mom was right. My heart was fragile. Ryan's rejection had left scars, the mate bond still lingering like a ghost, making every touch from Victor feel both thrilling and treacherous. My wolf whined, yearning for the connection, but I silenced her. Not now, I whispered. We need to think. Sleep was restless, dreams of Victor's kiss mixing with Ryan's snarls, leaving me tossing until dawn. Morning came with a text from Lily. Hey, you okay? Heard Ryan was an ass last night. Call me? I did, on my way to class. The phone pressed to my ear as I walked the familiar path to campus. Lily, it is a mess. Victor knows everything about the rejection, the bond. He offered a job to pay off the debt. Take it, she exclaimed, her voice bright despite the early hour. He is loaded hot and clearly into you, screw Ryan. He is yesterday's news. This could be your fresh start. But what if it is a trap? I said, dodging students on the quad. He is Isabella's dad if she finds out about the suite. Lily laughed. Then make it worth the drama, Em. Your wolf likes him. I can tell. And after Ryan treated you like trash, you deserve someone who sees your worth. Class was a blur. Warrior training where I sparred with a partner. My punches landing harder than usual, fueled by frustration. Shifting class where I transformed seamlessly. But the bond's pull made my fur bristle. By afternoon, I decided the job was too good to pass up. I texted Victor. Accepted. See you tomorrow at 9. His reply, looking forward to it, wear something comfortable. Mom was skeptical when I told her over lunch. Sandwiches she made with extra care, like it could fix our broken world. Just promise you'll keep your eyes open, she said, squeezing my hand. Dad called. Says he is holding up, but misses us. I'll visit him soon, I promised, the guilt twisting in my gut. The debt was a noose around our necks, and Victor's offer was the knife to cut it. The next day, I arrived at the corporation in black slacks and a simple blouse, nerves jangling like keys. Sophia at reception gave me a once-over, her smile fake. Mr. Hale's expecting you. Elevators that way. Victor's office was as impressive as before, sunlight streaming in, highlighting his broad shoulders as he stood by the window. Emily, right on time. Let's get you set up. Har was quick. Forms Idaho badge. Benefits that made my eyes widen. Healthcare. Pack discounts. My office was a corner space with a view, desk equipped with a computer and stacks of files. Start with these security reports, Victor said, his hand brushing mine as he handed them over. Flag any weaknesses, I nodded, diving in. The work was engaging. Analyzing protocols, spotting vulnerabilities like outdated encryption that could let hackers in. Hours flew, my focus sharp despite the occasional glance toward his office, wondering if he was watching. At lunch, he appeared at my door. Progress? Care to discuss over food? The building's cafe was sleek, our table private. I laid out my notes. See here. The access logs aren't monitored in real time. Someone could slip in unnoticed. He leaned in, his knee touching mine under the table, sending a spark up my leg. Impressive. You are a natural at this. Thanks, I said, pulling my leg away subtly. Just applying what I learned in training. Lunch stretched. Conversation turning from work to lighter things. Favorite food? He asked, sipping his coffee. Pizza, loaded with everything, I said, smiling despite myself. Yours? Steak rare. Like my relationships, intense and straightforward. The flirtation hung there, making my pulse quicken. Victor, he held up a hand. Just talking, no pressure. Back at work, I buried myself in files. But the spark lingered. End of day, he walked me to the elevator. Greet first day dinner to celebrate? My treat. I hesitated, the pull strong. Okay, but just dinner. The restaurant was cozy, Italian, candlelit tables. We ordered pasta, wine, and talked, really talked. Tell me about your wife, I asked, curious. His eyes shadowed. Elena, she was my world, died in childbirth with Isabella. The pain. It changed me. I threw myself into work, the chairmanship. Flings helped numb it, but nothing stuck. I am sorry, I said, reaching for his hand. That must have been hell. It was until you. You make me feel again, Emily. The wine warmed me, his words more so. As he walked me home, he kissed me under the streetlight. Slow, tender, his hands on my waist pulling me close. Good night, he whispered. Inside, I touched my lips, heart racing. Mom was asleep, but my mind wasn't. Was this love or rebound? My wolf howled, yes, but doubts whispered. Days became a routine, work where I excelled, lunches with Victor turning flirty, evenings of dates, a picnic in the park. You are beautiful, he said, feeding me strawberries. A movie night at his penthouse, cuddled on the couch, his arm around me, leading to kisses that heated up, his hands exploring. Victor, slow, I gasped. Okay, he agreed, but the tension built. Conflict came when Ryan called. Emily, meet me. It is important. I met him at a cafe, tense. What? Victor's lying about his wife. She left because he was controlling, abusive. Check the old PAC archives. Lies, I said, but it planted a seed, confronted Victor that night over dinner. Tell me the truth about Elena. He sighed, pulling out his phone, showing old emails. Death records. She died, Emily. Ryan's twisting it to break us. Relief washed over me, but anger at Ryan boiled. Why does he hate you so much? Jealousy. He wants what I have, power you. We kissed, passion igniting, leading to his bedroom. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yes," I breathed. It was intense, his body over mine, claiming me. The bond snapped. Second chance, mate. "Mine," he growled, after held in his arms. "I love you. Love you too. End."